First contact followed. Dr. Olivia Winters stared at the holographic display, her fingers trembling as she manipulated the three-dimensional image of the approaching spacecraft. 27 vessels of varying sizes, all bearing damage marks, all traveling in tight formation. They had appeared beyond Neptune's orbit 6 hours ago, and the world was still unaware. How long until they're within lunar orbit? She asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Technician Patel checked his readings. At current velocity, approximately 38 hours, Doctor. The observation room of the International Space Coalition's Lunar Observatory had been sealed off from the rest of the facility. Only 6 people in the solar system knew what was happening, and Olivia was one of them. The intercom chimed. Dr. Winters, came the gruff voice of General Hudson, the Emergency Council is assembling. Your presence is required immediately. Olivia sighed. As the ISC's leading xenobiologist, she had spent her career preparing for this moment, first contact with an extraterrestrial species. But she had always imagined it would be a single vessel, a peaceful explorer, not what appeared to be a battle-damaged refugee fleet. I'll be right there, she responded, gathering her tablet. Keep monitoring their approach, Patel. Alert me of any course changes. The ISC Emergency Council chamber was a windowless room 50 meters beneath the lunar surface. The table was round, a deliberate choice to emphasize equality among Earth's nations. Today, that symbolism felt hollow as fear charged the air. They're not responding to any of our hails, Director Fujimoto said, her usually composed features tight with tension. We've transmitted on all frequencies, in all mathematical sequences recommended by the first contact protocols. General Hudson, a broad-shouldered man with close-cropped gray hair, leaned forward. Then we should assume hostile intent. I've already placed Earth's defense grid on standby. With all due respect, General, Olivia interjected, damaged ships don't suggest an invasion force. They look like they're running from something. Ambassador Okafor from the African Union nodded. Dr. Winters has a point. We should not be hasty too. A junior communications officer burst through the door, breaking protocol. They're broadcasting, all frequencies, multiple languages including English. The room fell silent as the central display activated. The figure that appeared made several council members gasp. She had iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light. 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, blinked independently. What might have been hair flowed upward, defying gravity. People of Earth, the being spoke, her voice melodic with an underlying harmonic that made the hairs on Olivia's arms stand on end. I am Ambassador Nix of the Zalrathi Conclave. We come to you in our hour of greatest need. Olivia watched, fascinated, as the aliens' facial patterns shifted, creating expressions impossible for human faces. Our civilization is being systematically eradicated by an entity we call the Harvesters. 17 worlds have already fallen. The ambassador paused, all 4 eyes blinking simultaneously. We seek sanctuary in your system while our ships undergo repairs. In exchange, we offer knowledge and technology beyond your current capabilities. Director Fujimoto was the first to recover. Ambassador Nix, I am Director Miyu Fujimoto of the International Space Coalition. We need to understand the nature of this threat you're fleeing from. The alien's upper eyes narrowed. The harvesters are not like us or you. They do not communicate, they do not negotiate, they consume. Planetary resources, entire ecosystems, sentient populations, all are harvested for their vast conversion ships. The display split, showing footage that made Olivia's stomach turn. Massive ships tearing into a planet's crust, beams of energy lifting oceans, entire cities being systematically dismantled. Why Earth? General Hudson demanded. There are dozens of uninhabited systems you could have fled to. Ambassador Nix's pattern markings pulsed. Your world has unique properties, and you have developed more rapidly than most species. You may be capable of what others were not, surviving the harvesters. Something about the ambassador's hesitation triggered Olivia's scientific instincts. The Zalrathi was holding something back. General Hudson apparently felt the same. That's not a complete answer, Ambassador. It is all I can offer until we establish trust, Nix replied. But know this, the harvesters are pursuing us. If you reject us, we will leave, but they will still find Earth eventually. Together, we have a chance. Divided, we both fall. After the transmission ended, the council erupted into heated debate. Olivia remained silent, her mind racing. The Zalrathi biology alone would revolutionize science, and their technology could advance humanity by centuries. But the risk. Dr. Winters, Director Fujimoto called, silencing the room. You've been quiet. As our xenobiology expert, what's your assessment? Olivia chose her words carefully. Their biology is unlike anything in our evolutionary tree. Four eyes suggest development on a world with different light conditions than Earth. The apparent disregard for gravity in their physiology points to either artificial adaptation or origin on a world with different gravitational laws. Can they be trusted? General Hudson pressed. That's beyond my scientific expertise, Olivia admitted. But I recommend allowing a small delegation aboard their lead vessel. I volunteer to go. Captain Tio Reyes stood on the bridge of the ISC Intrepid, Earth's most advanced spacecraft, watching the approaching Zalrathi fleet. While the Emergency Council deliberated, his orders were to maintain position between the aliens and Earth. Weapons status, he asked his tactical officer. Lieutenant Vargas looked uncomfortable. All systems nominal, sir, but against that, I'm not sure it would matter. Reyes understood the sentiment. The largest Zalrathi vessel dwarfed the Intrepid by a factor of 20, and based on the energy readings his science team was picking up, their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's best efforts. Sir, his communications officer called, I'm detecting anomalous signals between the Zalrathi vessels. It's not on any of the frequencies they're using to communicate with us. Can you isolate it? Working on it, sir. It's heavily encrypted, but there are patterns emerging. Reyes frowned. The Zalrathi had been forthcoming about their desperate situation, but this suggested they were coordinating something they didn't want Earth to know about. Keep on it, he ordered, and prepare a secure channel to General Hudson. Dr. Winters floated in the zero-gravity transfer tube connecting the ISC shuttle to the Zalrathi flagship. Despite the environmental suit's climate control, she felt cold sweat forming on her brow. Beside her, Ambassador Okafor and a security detail of 3 maintained stoic expressions. The airlock cycled and they were met by 2 Zalrathi. Up close, the aliens were even more striking, nearly 2 meters tall with limbs that seemed to have too many joints. Their skin didn't just appear iridescent, it actually emitted a subtle bioluminescence. Dr. Winters, one of them, greeted her. Ambassador Nix is eager to meet you. This way, please. As they moved through the ship, Olivia surreptitiously recorded everything with her suit's sensors. The architecture was organic, with corridors that seemed grown rather than built. Other Zalrathi they passed stared at the humans with what Olivia interpreted as curiosity, fear, or in some cases, what looked disturbingly like hunger. Ambassador Nix was waiting in what appeared to be a command center. Displays showing Earth and the surrounding space dominated the walls. Thank you for coming, Nix said, her 4 eyes focusing on Olivia in a way that made the scientist feel like a specimen. We have much to discuss. Indeed, Ambassador Okafor replied, starting with the complete truth about why you've come to Earth specifically. Nix's skin patterns darkened, as I explained. You've been monitoring our planet for some time, Olivia interrupted, her scientific curiosity overriding diplomatic protocol. The way you speak our languages, your knowledge of our political structures, that's not information you gathered during your approach. The Zalrathi ambassador's upper eyes narrowed while the lower ones widened, an expression Olivia couldn't interpret. Perceptive, Nix finally said. Yes, we have observed your development for what you would measure as approximately 70 years. Your species' capacity for adaptation, for survival despite your fragility, is remarkable. That doesn't explain why Earth, Okafor pressed. Before Nix could respond, the ship shuddered. Alarm sounds, different from human emergency signals but unmistakable in their urgency, blared through the chamber. They've found us, Nix whispered, her skin losing luminosity. The harvesters have entered your system. Back in the council chamber, chaos reigned as General Hudson displayed the incoming sensor data. 3 objects, moving at impossible speeds, had passed Neptune's orbit and were heading inward. They're not responding to hails, he reported grimly, but they're broadcasting something, a signal unlike anything we've encountered. Director Fujimoto paled. The Zalrathi said the harvesters were pursuing them. Could these be scout ships? If they are, Hudson replied, then we need to decide right now. Do we stand with the Zalrathi or do we try to remain neutral? The question hung in the air as the council members exchanged grim looks. Earth had never faced an extraterrestrial threat before. Its defenses, while considerable against terrestrial threats, were untested against advanced alien technology. "We need more information," insisted Representative Joe from the East Asian Coalition. Dr. Winters was suspicious of the Zalratha's motives. What if they're manipulating us into a conflict that isn't ours? On the main display, the three objects accelerated suddenly, bypassing Jupiter's orbit in minutes rather than the hours it should have taken. "I don't think we have time for debate," Hudson said, his military pragmatism taking over. "Those objects will reach Earth in less than 6 hours at current velocity." Aboard the Zalrathi flagship, Olivia found herself escorted not back to the shuttle, but deeper into the vessel. Ambassador Okafor and their security detail had been separated from her, ostensibly for their safety during the emergency. "Where are you taking me?" she demanded as the two Zalrathi guards guided her down a corridor that seemed to pulse with internal light. "Ambassador Nix wishes to show you something," one replied. "Something that will explain everything." They entered a chamber unlike any other she had seen on the ship. The walls were lined with what appeared to be crystalline memory modules, and at the center stood a pedestal supporting a floating, rotating object that made Olivia's scientific mind reel. It was a fragment of stone, covered in markings that were neither Zalrathi nor human in origin. Yet somehow, looking at them stirred something deep in her consciousness, a sense of recognition she couldn't rationally explain. "What is this?" she whispered. Ambassador Nix emerged from behind the pedestal. "The reason we came to Earth, Dr. Winters, the reason the harvesters will never stop until they've stripped your world to its core." "I don't understand." "This artifact was recovered from the ruins of a civilization that predates both of ours by millions of years," Nix explained, her voice taking on a reverent quality. "A civilization that originated not on our homeworld but on yours." Olivia felt her knees weaken. "That's impossible. Earth has no evidence of an advanced prehistoric civilization." "Not on the surface, no," Nix agreed. "But deep beneath your oceans, buried under millennia of sediment, there lies the truth. Earth was home to beings we call the architects, the first species to achieve interstellar travel in our galaxy. And the harvesters, they are not just consuming worlds. They are searching for something the architects left behind." Olivia stared at the artifact, its patterns seeming to shift as she watched. "And it's here on Earth." Nix's skin patterns formed what Olivia was beginning to recognize as an expression of grim determination. Yes, the power to either save all sentient life in the galaxy or end it. And now, Dr. Winters, your species must make a choice. Will you fight alongside us to protect it, or will you surrender it to the harvesters and hope for mercy that will never come? As if in answer to the question, the ship shuddered again. On a nearby display, Olivia saw three sleek predatory shapes decelerating into Earth orbit. The harvesters had arrived, and humanity's time for indecision had run out. The hidden truths. Lieutenant Jia Wang stood at her tactical station aboard the ISC Shadowhawk, a stealth reconnaissance vessel hovering at the edge of Earth's gravity well. The ship's experimental cloaking technology rendered it virtually undetectable, at least to human sensors. Whether it would fool the harvesters remained to be seen. "Harvester scout ships maintaining position in high Earth orbit," she reported, studying the holographic display. "They've made no aggressive moves since arrival 6 hours ago." Commander Nathaniel Drake nodded grimly. A veteran of the resource wars of the 2050s, Drake had seen humanity at its worst, but nothing had prepared him for extraterrestrial conflict. "What are they waiting for?" he muttered, more to himself than to Wang. "Permission to speak freely, sir." Drake gestured for her to continue. "They're scanning," Wang said, "not just our defenses, they're penetrating deep into the planet's crust. The energy signatures suggest they're looking for something specific." The commander's eyes narrowed. The Zalrathi mentioned the harvesters were collectors. Maybe they're cataloging Earth's resources before they begin harvesting. Wang's fingers danced across her console, bringing up a new set of readings. "Sir, I've been analyzing their movement patterns. There's something odd about their positioning." She highlighted 3 areas on the holographic Earth. "They're concentrating scans on these regions: the Mariana Trench, the South Indian Ocean anomaly, and the Mediterranean Basin." "All underwater locations," Drake observed. "Yes, sir, and all locations with unusual geological features." Drake tapped his comm badge. Drake to command, I think we have something you need to see. Dr. Olivia Winters stood before the ISC Emergency Council, Ambassador Nix at her side. On the display behind them rotated a three-dimensional image of the artifact she had been shown aboard the Zalrathi flagship. As incredible as it sounds, Olivia said, her voice steady despite her exhaustion, archaeological evidence suggests that approximately 2.5 million years ago, an advanced civilization did indeed exist on Earth. The architects, as the Zalrathi call them, apparently evolved in Earth's primordial oceans before the rise of mammals. Director Marcus Acaffer, who had replaced Fujimoto after she suffered a stress-induced collapse, leaned forward. And you expect us to believe that this ancient civilization left behind some sort of weapon, one powerful enough that these harvesters have tracked it across the galaxy. Nix's skin rippled with patterns that Olivia had learned indicated frustration. Not a weapon, Director, a key. A key to what? General Hudson demanded. To the architect's greatest achievement, Nix replied. A network that spans galaxies, instantaneous transportation between star systems. The architects built it before they transcended physical form. The harvesters seek to control it, to use it to expand their consumption beyond our galaxy. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. If such a network exists, Representative Joe said slowly, why haven't we discovered any evidence of it? Olivia gestured to the artifact. Because it's dormant. According to Zalrathi records, activating a node requires both the physical key, this artifact, and a genetic signature from the architects themselves. Which supposedly evolved on Earth, Hudson said skeptically. Yes, Nix confirmed. Though the architects left this world eons ago, traces of their genetic material remain in Earth's oceans. The harvesters will extract it, along with the buried network node beneath your Pacific Ocean floor. Acaffer stood, his tall frame imposing. As former head of the African Union's Science Division, he had a reputation for making difficult decisions based on evidence, not emotion. If what you're saying is true, he said, addressing Nix, then the harvesters will strip our world regardless of whether we fight or not. Yes, the alien acknowledged, but with our combined forces we have a chance to stop them. My people have fought the harvesters for generations, we know their weaknesses. Acaffer's expression hardened. Then I see no choice but to prepare for war. He turned to General Hudson. Deploy the fleet, coordinate with the Zalrathi, we need to buy time to evaluate these claims about the architect network. As the council dispersed to implement emergency protocols, Olivia approached Nix privately. There's more you haven't told us, she said quietly. All four of Nix's eyes focused on her. Perceptive again, Dr. Winters. Yes, there is more, but some truths would only complicate an already desperate situation. Lieutenant Wang stared at the data scrolling across her tactical display. The Harvester scout ships had begun moving, descending into lower orbit. They're deploying something, she reported. Small objects approximately 3 meters in diameter, hundreds of them. Commander Drake grimaced, probes or weapons. Unknown, sir, but they're all heading for the oceanic locations we identified earlier. Drake made a decision. Active scanning, full spectrum, I want to know what those things are. Sir, that will reveal our position, Wang cautioned. I know, Lieutenant, do it anyways. Wang activated the Shadowhawk's advanced sensor array. Immediately, alarms blared as one of the Harvester ships changed course, accelerating toward their position. They've detected us, Wang confirmed, already plotting evasive maneuvers. Harvester vessel approaching at high speed, estimated interception in 45 seconds. Weapons hot, Drake ordered, prepare to engage. The Shadowhawk's experimental plasma cannons, derived from Zalrathi technology, hummed to life. Wang had helped integrate the alien tech with human systems, a process that had taken weeks of round-the-clock work compressed into just days. Sir, she said suddenly, I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations in the approaching ship. There, I think they're charging weapons. Drake's voice was cold. Fire first, Lieutenant. Standard protocols don't apply against planet killers. Wang hesitated only a fraction of a second before targeting the Harvester vessel's propulsion system, at least, what she believed to be its propulsion system based on energy signatures. The Shadowhawk's cannons released brilliant blue-white streams of plasma that crossed the void in seconds. The impacts against the Harvester ship's shields created rippling distortions, like stones thrown into a pond. For a moment, Wang thought their weapons had failed entirely. Then, astonishingly, the alien shield collapsed in one section. "Direct hit," she exclaimed. "Their shield harmonics are fluctuating." Drake leaned forward. All power to weapons, hit them again, same location. The second volley struck the exposed area, causing the Harvester vessel to veer off course. Bursts of escaping atmosphere indicated they had breached the hull. "They're retreating," Wang reported, disbelief coloring her voice. "Returning to formation with the other scouts." Drake allowed himself a brief smile. "They didn't expect us to have effective weapons. Good work, Wang. Now, what did you learn about those deployed objects?" Wang returned to her scans. "They appear to be automated drilling units, sir. They're boring into the ocean floor at the 3 locations, and there's something else." She highlighted new readings. "The units are releasing something into the water. It looks like some kind of molecular probe." "Collecting genetic samples," Drake muttered, "just like the Zalrathi warned." Major Julian Diaz adjusted his specialized EVA suit as the dropship approached the damaged Harvester scout vessel. The joint human-Zalrathi operation had been hastily assembled after the Shadowhawk's unexpected victory. "Remember," he told his team of 6, 4 humans and 2 Zalrathi commandos, "this is intelligence gathering only. We get in, download what we can from their systems, plant the trackers, and get out. No heroics." The Zalrathi warrior Kextel made a sound that the translator rendered as acknowledgement. The alien's exoskeleton gleamed with what looked like ceremonial markings. "The Harvesters will have automated defenses," Kextel warned, "even in a damaged vessel." "That's why we have you," Diaz replied with a grim smile. "Your people have fought them before, we haven't." The dropship pilot's voice came through their comms. "Approaching breach point, ready in 30 seconds." Diaz performed a final check of his equipment. The plasma cutter at his hip, the specialized hacking module developed by ISC technicians based on Zalrathi algorithms, and the emergency transponder that would beam him out if things went sideways. "For Earth," he said quietly. "For all worlds," Kextel added. The boarding went smoothly, too smoothly, in Diaz's experienced opinion. The hull breach provided easy access to what appeared to be a maintenance corridor. The interior of the Harvester ship was unlike anything Diaz had imagined. Instead of the sterile, mechanical environment he expected, the walls seemed almost organic, pulsing with fluid-filled conduits. "Life support systems," explained Tavish, the other Zalrathi commando. "The Harvesters augment mechanical technology with biological components." They moved deeper into the vessel, encountering no resistance. According to the Zalrathi, the Harvesters operated with minimal crew, relying primarily on automated systems and drones. Here, Kextel indicated a juncture where multiple conduits converged. "This should be a data node." Tech specialist Ruiz from Diaz's team approached, attaching the hacking module. "Initiating interface now. This will take a few minutes." Diaz posted guards at both ends of the corridor. "Keep sharp, this feels too easy." As if on cue, a high-pitched whine filled the corridor. From a previously unnoticed port in the ceiling, a spherical object dropped down, hovering at eye level. Multiple lens-like structures rotated on its surface. "Defense drone," Tavish hissed, raising her weapon. The drone emitted a pulse of energy that temporarily scrambled their communications. Then it darted forward with surprising speed, directly toward Ruiz and the hacking module. Diaz didn't hesitate. He threw himself between the drone and his tech specialist, firing his plasma pistol. The shot connected, sending the drone spinning into a wall, but not before it released a second pulse, this one slicing through Diaz's armor at the shoulder. Pain flared, but adrenaline kept him focused. Status on the download. 80%, Ruiz reported, fingers flying across his portable terminal. Just a few more seconds. More whining sounds came from further down the corridor. "More drones incoming," warned Corporal Garcia from her position. "Fall back to the entry point," Diaz ordered. "Ruiz stays until the download is complete. Everyone else covers our retreat." The firefight was brief but intense. The Zalrathi warriors moved with fluid grace, their weapons efficiently disabling 3 more drones. Diaz and his team held their own, though Private Cowery took a glancing hit to his leg. "Download complete," Ruiz announced, detaching the module. "And I managed to plant the trackers in their network." Move out, Diaz commanded. As they retreated toward the breach point, Diaz couldn't shake the feeling that their mission had been too successful. Either they had genuinely caught the harvesters unprepared, or they had been allowed to take exactly what the enemy wanted them to have. 2 days after the raid on the harvester vessel, Earth's combined military forces gathered in orbit. The ISC had requisitioned every spaceworthy vehicle, from military vessels to civilian transports retrofitted with weapons. Alongside them floated the remaining Zalrathi ships, their hull damages hastily repaired. In the command center beneath Geneva, Dr. Olivia Winters and Lieutenant Jia Wang stood before a holographic representation of the data extracted from the harvester ship. "It's a countdown," Wang explained to the assembled leaders. "The harvester main fleet will arrive in approximately 72 hours. Over 300 vessels, including what the Zalrathi identify as processing ships capable of stripping a planet's resources within days." Director Okafor turned to Ambassador Nix. "And what of this architect network node? Have your scientists confirmed its location?" "Yes," Nix replied. "Your Pacific seabed near what you call the Mariana Trench. The genetic samples the harvesters collected will allow them to activate it." General Hudson, who had been studying tactical simulations, looked up. "Then we focus our defense there. If this node is what they want, we make it impossible for them to reach it." "It won't be enough," Nix said. "Their numbers and technology far outmatch our combined forces in direct confrontation." Lieutenant Wang cleared her throat. "If I may, sir, I've been analyzing their combat patterns from the skirmish with the Shadowhawk and from footage the Zalrathi provided. The harvesters fight according to rigid protocols, predictable formations, predictable responses to threats." "Go on," Okafor encouraged. "They've never encountered human military doctrine," Wang continued. "We don't fight like the Zalrathi or other species they've conquered. We're adaptable, unconventional. What if we use that against them?" Major Diaz, his shoulder bandaged from the drone attack, nodded. "Guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run operations, we don't try to match their firepower, we exploit their rigid thinking." A spark of hope ignited in the room as military minds began to see possibilities, where before there had been only despair. "We need more than tactics," Dr. Winters interjected. "The architect artifact the Zalrathi brought, I've been studying it with their scientists. We believe it can be modified to disrupt the harvester network access." Nix's skin patterns shifted to what Olivia now recognized as surprised concern. "That possibility was not in our records." "Because your people never had both the artifact and access to Earth-specific geological conditions," Olivia explained. "The artifact resonates with certain mineral formations unique to our planet. If amplified correctly, it could create a feedback loop in the node activation sequence." "Destroying the node?" Okafor asked. "No," Olivia said, "redirecting it. Instead of opening a gateway for the harvesters, it would send them elsewhere." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "Where exactly is elsewhere?" Hudson finally asked. Olivia exchanged glances with Nix. "We can't be certain. The architect's network extends beyond our understanding of spacetime, but it would remove the immediate threat. And potentially create a future one," Okafor noted. "We deal with the enemy before us," Hudson said firmly. "Dr. Winters, how long to modify the artifact?" "With Zalrathi help, 48 hours, maybe less." Hudson turned to Wang and Diaz. "Develop your tactical plan. I want options on my desk in 12 hours. He addressed the entire room. "The harvesters came expecting to find an easy target. Let's show them why Earth has a reputation for stubborn survival." Aboard the Zalrathi flagship, now serving as the Joint Command Center, Lieutenant Wang worked alongside Kextel, mapping out formation strategies designed to confuse the harvester battle algorithms. "They expect uniformity," Wang explained to a group of Earth's fleet captains. "So we give them chaos. No two ships follow the same approach vector, no predictable responses." The display showed simulations of Earth vessels seemingly scattered randomly, but actually positioned to create overlapping fields of fire. "Traditional military doctrine teaches concentration of force," objected Admiral Petrov of the Eurasian Defense Pact. "This plan spreads us too thin." "Traditional doctrine assumes both sides follow similar rules of engagement," Wang countered. "The harvesters have never encountered human unpredictability as a weapon." Major Diaz stepped forward. Meanwhile, my special operations teams will target their command ships not to destroy them but to plant these. He held up a small device. Modified versions of the trackers we used during the raid, they'll transmit false tactical data throughout their fleet. In another section of the ship, Dr. Winters supervised the modification of the Architect artifact. The crystalline object now sat within a complex apparatus of both Zalrathi and human design. The frequency modulation is holding, reported Dr. Novak, her chief assistant. If your calculations are correct when the harvesters attempt to activate the node, they'll open a gateway to somewhere very, very far from here, Olivia completed. But we need to get this to the node location before they do. Ambassador Nix approached, her movements betraying what Olivia had learned to recognize as anxiety. Dr. Winters, may I speak with you privately? Once they were alone, Nix's skin patterns shifted to a configuration Olivia had never seen before. There is something I must confess, the Zalrathi said. When my people first discovered evidence of the architects, we also found warnings. The network they built, it was not abandoned, it was sealed. Olivia felt a chill, sealed to keep something out or to keep something in. We don't know, Nix admitted. But in redirecting the harvesters, we may be opening a door that was closed for good reason. Olivia considered this new information. Why tell me this now? Because your plan may work too well, Nix said, and I could not in good conscience let you proceed without knowing the full risk. Before Olivia could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. General Hudson's voice came over the intercom. All personnel to battle stations. The Harvester fleet has been detected entering the solar system. They're ahead of schedule. Nix's 4 eyes met Olivia's too. It seems our choice has been made for us. The battle for Earth began not with a thunderous exchange of firepower, but with silence. The Harvester fleet, vast beyond imagination, emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system and immediately split into tactical groups. Lieutenant Wang, monitoring from the command center, watched as the enemy formations took shape exactly as predicted. They're following standard conquest protocols, she reported. Primary force heading directly for Earth while secondary units move to secure outer system resources. Director Akafer nodded grimly. Implement Operation Chameleons. Throughout the solar system, Earth's seemingly haphazard defense grid came to life. Ships hidden in asteroid fields, automated platforms disguised as space debris, and the combined Earth-Zalrathi fleet all activated simultaneously. Instead of meeting the harvesters in traditional formation, Earth's forces executed Wang's unconventional plan. Small, fast attack craft darted between larger harvester vessels, creating confusion. Missile salvos came from unexpected vectors. Electronic warfare platforms broadcast contradictory sensor readings. In the Pacific Ocean, a specially modified submarine carrying Dr. Winters, Major Diaz, and the modified artifact descended toward the Mariana Trench. Harvester drilling units detected ahead, the submarine's captain reported. They've already begun excavation of the node site. Diaz checked his tactical display. Our surface fleet is engaging their support vessels, but we have a narrow window at best. The submarine shuddered as depth charges detonated nearby. They know we're here, Olivia said, clutching the artifact containment unit. How close do we need to get? Within 1 kilometer of the node, Diaz replied. Then we can deploy the autonomous delivery vehicle. Above, the space battle raged with increasing intensity. Despite initial success, Earth's forces were gradually being overwhelmed by sheer harvester numbers. The Shadowhawk, leading a strike team against a harvester command ship, took a direct hit that sheared off one wing. Lieutenant Wang, having transferred to the vessel for the operation, held onto her console as emergency systems stabilized their flight. Shields down to 15%, she reported, but we're still operational. Commander Drake, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead, assessed their situation. Did we get close enough to deploy the disruptors? Wang checked her readings. Yes, sir, the signal is transmitting through their network. Across the battlefield, harvester vessels began to show signs of confusion. Formations broke apart as contradictory commands propagated through their systems. Deep beneath the Pacific, the submarine approached the excavation site. Through the viewport, Olivia could see intense light emanating from the ocean floor where harvester drilling units had exposed something that defied description. a structure of impossible geometry, glowing with internal energy. The architect node, she whispered in awe. Harvester units are moving to intercept, warned the submarine's tactical officer. We can't get any closer without being detected. Diaz made a quick decision, launch the delivery vehicle now. A torpedo-like object detached from the submarine, carrying the modified artifact toward the exposed node. Its stealth systems kept it invisible to Harvester sensors for precious seconds. They've spotted it, the tactical officer reported, Harvester units converging. On the main screen, they watched as energy beams lanced toward the delivery vehicle. It juked and weaved, its AI guidance system performing evasive maneuvers, but a glancing hit sent it tumbling. It's damaged, Olivia said, her heart sinking. It won't reach the target zone. Diaz checked the distance readings. It's close enough, manual detonation. The delivery vehicle exploded in a controlled burst, releasing the modified artifact. Free-falling through the water, the ancient device spun toward the exposed architect node. Will it work from this distance? Diaz asked. It has to, Olivia replied, watching the artifact's trajectory. Otherwise. The artifact struck the edge of the excavation site, not directly on the node, but close enough that its crystalline surface began to resonate with the exposed architect technology. Energy patterns rippled across both surfaces, building in intensity. In orbit, Lieutenant Wang watched in astonishment as Harvester vessels suddenly broke off their attack. They're retreating, she reported, all units disengaging and moving toward Earth's southern hemisphere. The Harvester fleet, abandoning its methodical assault, converged on the Pacific Ocean with singular purpose. Whatever their sensors had detected at the node site had become their sole priority. They sense what's happening, Ambassador Nix explained over the comm system. They're attempting to secure the node before. Her voice cut off as a blinding light erupted from the Pacific. On every sensor display, energy readings spiked beyond measurable limits. Deep beneath the ocean, Dr. Winters and Major Diaz watched in awe as the architect node fully activated, not as the stable gateway the Harvesters sought, but as a churning maelstrom of space-time distortion. It's working, Olivia breathed. The redirect is happening. Harvester ships, caught in the growing gravitational field of the distortion, were pulled inexorably toward the Pacific. Their engines flared as they attempted to escape, but the force was too powerful. In the command center, Director Akafer watched the tactical display with a mixture of hope and dread. Where are they being sent? I don't know, Ambassador Nix admitted, but they are being removed from our space-time continuum. One by one, Harvester vessels vanished into the distortion, which grew larger with each ship it consumed. Earth's combined fleet maintained safe distance, watching as their overwhelming enemy was systematically removed from the battlefield. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the distortion collapsed in upon itself. Where once had been a churning vortex of energy, there was now only the calm Pacific Ocean. Lieutenant Wang checked her sensors repeatedly. No sign of Harvester ships in the solar system, she reported, disbelief evident in her voice. They're gone. Major Diaz helped Dr. Winters to her feet as their submarine stabilized. Did we just win? Olivia looked at the now dark display showing the ocean floor. The architect node had disappeared along with the Harvesters. For now, she said quietly, remembering Nix's warning, but I can't help wondering what door we might have opened. In orbit, Earth's battered fleet regrouped. Damaged vessels limped toward repair facilities. Celebration transmissions bounced between ships as the reality of their unexpected victory set in. Director Akafer stood before the command center's main view screen, watching Earth rotate serenely below. Ambassador Nix joined him, her skin patterns subdued. Thank you, Akafer said simply, without your people's warning and help. Our civilizations are now bound together, Nix replied, for whatever comes next. As if in answer to her ominous words, a communication officer called out, Director, we're receiving a transmission from deep space. It's not Zalrathi or Harvester. Akafer and Nix exchanged glances. Put it through, Akafer ordered. The viewscreen flickered, showing nothing but darkness for a moment. Then, shapes began to resolve, geometries that strained human perception, moving in ways that suggested more dimensions than the eye could process. A voice spoke, resonating not through the speakers, but somehow directly in the minds of everyone present. The seal is broken, the way is open. We have heard your call across the eons. Nyx's skin lost all color. Architects, she whispered. No, came the reply, though no one had spoken aloud. We are what came before, what they imprisoned, and now, thanks to you, we are free. The transmission ended, leaving only static. In the sudden silence of the command center, Dr. Olivia Winter's words from weeks earlier echoed in Okafor's memory. The price of survival may be higher than we can imagine. He feared they were about to discover just how prophetic those words had been.